Hello, Davey. How are you getting on?
I was on the wrong side there.
I felt on the wrong side for about the half hour there leading up to that because I'm trying to get my microphone to work and couldn't get it, and then
See, that's what happens. It's technology.
ended up going back to mobile phone here. It seems to be working, so hey ho and all that.
Yep.
Good evening, good evening. If you see me looking really close at the screen, it's because I can't see that far. Now there. Hello, Catherine. Oh, Catherine's in Connecticut in the USA. Fantastic.
Was it 5 hours? 5 hours behind.
Takes longer than that. Takes longer than that to get there, does it not?
Depends how fast you swim.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks very much, folks, for joining us. So many folk joining in. It's always great to see you out there. Please share the show about. This is Scottish Settings on Scottish Sessions on Distance on Tapping Tunes. And tonight we've got two wonderful guests for you, which is not Davey and me. We've got two really wonderful guests for you. We've got Suzanne Pivey and we've got Anna Massey coming up. It's going to be fantastic. You giving the girls a shot tonight?
It's Father's Day.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, Father's Day, so the girls get a shot tonight.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's all logic, it's fine, Peter.
That's great. It's one of the things we do. It's one of the things we are trying to do as well, is keep it eeky peeky and keep it straight down the middle as well.
Exactly. Exactly.
So some night you could come dressed up as a woman.
Again?
And and then the next night I'll do it. You know, I've got a really wee black leather number. That's quite appealing. As long as I'm not playing the piano, okay. It's a bit Kenny Everett if I'm playing the piano. It's maybe not quite so good. But
just like a things you
had to do to get work in the old days, you know. But there we go. So keep your comments, folks out there. Let us know what was your job in the olden days. What was your least favourite job? That's a wee question I'd love to see coming up tonight. What was your least favourite job you had? Mine was mucking out ducks. There was about 500 ducks, and I had to muck them out. That was never a nice job.
That's quackers.
Do you ever have a bad job? Did you ever have a bad one?
Don't know. Not really, no. I've been not too bad. Worked in a call centre for 4 years. It's a bad enough job.
Oh, yeah.
Dealing with Karens phoning about their beans being missing from their orders, things like that.
Yeah, 3 beans short of a tin and all that. That's it. Right, we'll get a couple of tunes before we get these wonderful guests on tonight. What are you giving us first?
I'm going to give you a classic slow air from Highland Perthshire. Ross used to play this all the time. And it's just kind of on the back of the craic fire last week in Loch Tay. So, yeah, I'm going to play the Loch Tay boat song.
Oh, aye. Ross will greet if you play that one at him.
It's not that bad.
It's one of his favourites. Right, go on now.
Yeah, here we go. There we go.
Lovely. Right.
Cracking tune.
It's a lovely tune. Yeah, it really is.
What are you giving us, Peter?
You know, I can't see the chat tonight to interfere with things.
What a shame.
It's not good. When I press chat,
Yep.
it says blah 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 blah, and then there's quite a. Oh, Martin Lofthouse says plucking turkeys for the Christmas market.
At least he spelt it right.
Yeah, that wouldn't have been a plucky kind of job right enough. But I was trying to see if there's a way that I can see that on my.
Probably not.
Not letting me see it there. So. Anyway, right, what am I going to play? I hadn't really thought what I was going to play, and after that hoo-ha of my microphone not working, I'm a bit bits. Kind of all a little bit. Right, anyway. think of something to play. Here is a wee 2/4 march called The Sprig of Ivy.
Okay.
Followed by a wee Scottish by a man called Bert Shorthouse, who came from about Kinross area, I think.
Okay.
And he called it the Turf Scottish. And it almost made me think of the big piping shop up in Turf.
Scotch Corner.
Yep.
Scotch Corner, Scotch Corner, Scotch Corner.
Yeah. So, I thought I'd just give these 2 wee tunes a wee blast for you. So, here you go. So, I hope it'll go alright. There we go. Couple of old tunes.
Nice tune.
That second one's definitely got the kind of West Coast sound about it.
Yeah.
Definitely has.
Yeah. Kind of. Yeah.
Yeah. Good. Oh, everything's wrong here.
What have you done?
I've just knocked all the lights off now. I'm having fun here tonight. This is great. Ah, never mind. Right, let's go on to the guests, because the guests have got to just blow us away after this.
Well, it can't be any worse than it is now, let's be honest.
No, don't know what's going on. Really don't know what's going on here at all. Something is not working.
So, the first guest we have tonight is a piano player extraordinaire who went to Plockton a number of years ago now. We have Suzanne Fivey.
Right.
Hello, Suzanne.
Hi, good to see you both this evening.
Hi, Suzanne.
And you.
How you doing?
Fine at this end.
I'm just glad I can see you after all the commotion I've had tonight.
Oh, dearie me.
Yeah, trusting technology, never easy.
This internety thing. Get the internety thing, they said. It's simple. It's straightforward, they said. Just the internety thing.
I'm surprised you got electricity on Shetland.
Yeah, we're doing all bad that way. Everything's going to be wind power before long.
That's the place for it.
Not joking. Not joking. So that's the plan forward. So how have you been right through all this lockdown?
Oh, well, we've been very lucky to have two wee toddlers to sort of take us through it. They've done a lot better than us at just accepting the changes as they come. So it's been, we've been very lucky that we've gotten to do the family thing, and they don't seem to have minded too much, to have spent so much time with me and their dad. Lots of music still in the house, but in a very different way, obviously, and trying to stay creative and practice when you've got 6 hands in the vicinity. It's been a laugh, but yeah, we're doing okay.
Wait, is Glasgow you're in?
Yeah, just in the West End of Glasgow now. So.
Where are you from originally, though? Are you from Glasgow originally? Or?
No, from Galsby originally. So an hour north of Inverness. So not far from where Anna's from, who you'll be seeing later on.
Yeah,
and,
so you're
headed over, as Davey said, to Plockton for the music school there for a few years, and then south to Glasgow. And I knew, age about 11, I think we were being told to look at uni brochures and stuff like that, and I was like, I know what degree I'm going for. And I was lucky that 7 years later I got in, so it was the Scottish music course in Glasgow. Like, I just had tunnel vision for that, so I ended up in Glasgow and never left.
It's got that hold on people, isn't it? Any trad musician, when you get to Glasgow, if you're there for the 4 years, you're there for a couple after, 1 year becomes 2 year becomes 3, and you just
that's it.
Might as well stay where you are.
Yeah, I'm growing Ouija's now. Yeah. A couple of tiny Ouija's in the house. So that's it.
Is that legal? Is it legal to grow Ouija's? Is that alright?
They seem to be everywhere.
I'm sure it is.
Like weeds.
We've got... Well, it's kind of funny because I was born south of Glasgow and I'm up here now and I have 2 children in Shetlanders. It's quite interesting. So,
I was born west of Glasgow. I was born east of Glasgow.
Yeah. Fife.
Dundee.
Cap Dundee. Can I just say very quickly, if you see me on the screen at the bottom again, don't connect me with that one. It's just I've worked it out to see the comments on the big computer as well. Right, cool.
Oh.
No. Don't
One too many
Don't
Peters.
connect me. There we go. That's right.
It's really weird because I'm watching the bottom and I can see it's got a delay, so you scratch your head, then you scratch it again. Anyway,
Really?
yeah.
Oh, I've got a delay tonight now, but I haven't got a delay when I'm speaking to you, I don't think.
No, it looks okay to me.
Oh, okay. Suzanne, how's about giving us some music? And I can go and have a wee nervous breakdown somewhere in the background. And I'll be back full of beans.
Lovely. Do you want something live just
what
now?
do you think?
Yeah.
What are we doing, Davey? Yeah, tell us what you're up to. What are you doing?
Well, Suzanne's been quite what's the word I'm looking for? Progressional throughout by using her talents to mash up well-known songs and trad style tunes. So I think we should have a live one from you.
Okay, if I can do it without laughing, this is the thing. It's still the first mashup happened 4 years ago, and I still can hardly do them without laughing. So this is the worry tonight. But anyway,
Right.
so
I think what we need. I think what we need to do here as well, just to go into this a wee bit more in depth and tell the audience what a mashup is, so as they know what's happening here.
The first mashup I ever did 4 years ago, and I think that's one of the pre-records that we'll check out later on. I just happened upon that this reel worked with this song, and now it's like an addiction. I've been looking for other ones that work, and I mean totally simultaneously singing the song and playing the tune at the same time, and harmonically everything sitting okay. And then it's the task of practicing the multitasking. And that's really I can speak about that more later. It's been amazing for me to sort of trust my body parts to work independently of each other and do these two things at the same time. So much fun, which is why, like I say, I'm always just on the edge of a giggle putting it together. But
That's okay.
this one.
That's a giggle kind of show.
Good. So I think this is an Irish tune.
Giggle,
This one, an Irish tune, The Musical Priest, and this I think this is the most recent Finnish one. Anyway, The Musical Priest fits really nicely with Ain't No Mountain High Enough. Who knew? So we'll give it a try.
But we used to call that tune The Musical Beast, because it wasn't very easy to play, so I take my hat off you.
It's quite tricky. So it was the third part locking in with the chorus that I found first, and then I had to hope that the first and second parts suited the verse, and they did. So
what are the chances?
I know, what are the chances? Okay, good. Wish me luck.
Something I've not heard before. Here she goes.
Oh. Listen, baby, ain't no mountain high, ain't no valley low, ain't no river wide enough, baby. When you hear me call me, no matter where you are, no matter how far, don't worry, baby, just call my name, I'll be there in a hurry. You don't have to worry, 'cause baby, there ain't no mountain high enough, ain't no valley low enough, ain't no river wide enough to keep me from getting to you, babe. Remember the day I set you free, I told you you could always count on me, girl. From that day on
Hey.
Cracking.
It's so much fun.
Fantastic.
It's
Fantastic.
so much fun when it goes right.
Right. So where did this idea come from?
Honestly, it's just luck. I was just whistling in the kitchen one day, and A Man's a Man for All That, like total tear-jerking, beautiful, almost the perfect song, A Man's a Man for All That, and I'd been singing it away to myself. And it occurred to me that a Glasgow reel by a Glaswegian, or he's from Rutherglen really, that's not quite Glasgow, Kev O'Neill, flute player in the Treacherous Orchestra. He wrote this tune called Rutherglen Road. It's a beautiful D major reel, and yeah, they go really nicely together. And honestly, it was just mucking about, probably looking for that. I already had a wee Baba, so I think it was just that time at home looking for inspiration behind the keys when I did have time to practice, and just needing a wee spark, needing a wee something extra to get excited about, just practicing at home. And that was the first one, and like I said, as soon as I practiced that, in fact I gigged it. It was like 3 days after I noticed that they worked. I was playing it was just a tutor's concert at a Faish up in Ullapool. I was tutoring up in Ullapool, and I think it was like 3 days. I think I'd found that on the Saturday, and on the Tuesday night I was like, I'm gonna play it in front of all these, it'll be fine. and it was alright, but it honestly takes about a year, I think, to just every couple of months just play it again. And then about a year later I was gigging it, and I was like, oh, now it's ready. It really is that kind of slow burner.
Yeah.
Because it's just muscle memory-tastic. It's ridiculous.
The muscle memory would certainly get used there, that's for sure. That's I keep telling the children that I'm giving tuition at the school that we have this thing called muscle memory, and I'm absolutely sure 90% of them don't believe me, but we do, and mine doesn't always work properly either, right enough, but I try.
It's fascinating.
But that's amazing.
We can't do what we do without it. We really
No,
can't.
yeah, exactly.
And we're seeing some of the comments in the chat coming in with suggestions of mashups. If anyone's got any suggestions of mashups, please. I Will Survive.
I saw that one there.
Song anyway, so
yeah.
if that reel doesn't work with I Will Survive, I will try and find another tune that works with I Will Survive.
St Andrew with the final countdown. Now there you go.
You could probably try the final countdown with Trip to Pakistan.
Tomorrow, I'll try it.
Let me know how you get on.
I'm happy to tell you that the next one after this is Take On Me. I've got a tune that works with Take On Me, so I'm really excited about that. But again, it's just finding the time. The kids start school and nursery both within about a week of each other in August, so suddenly I have time.
You went from having no time to
kind of
all
like
the time in the world.
Get that sort of 4.5 year stretch of having preschoolers, and then suddenly there will be a bit of time. So this is going to be my main creative focus.
So is there a year age gap between the two of them? Yeah,
18 months.
18 months. It's not too bad.
So tell me, taking you back just a wee stage, then you said you went to Plockton. To the high school. Did you do a year at the high school at the Plockton?
I did 3 years. I did 3 years there. Yeah.
My goodness.
Oh, it was wonderful. Wonderful. Like one of the best decisions ever. Looking back, still.
Yeah.
Fabulous institute, fabulous people, just fabulous everything.
And then used that as a stepping stone to the Royal Conservatoire.
Yeah. So it was the RSAMD. It was the RSAMD when I studied there, and they were switching it to being called the Royal Conservatoire of Scotland just as I was graduating. So actually my graduation photo, framed mounted photo, says RSAMD, but my certificate says Royal Conservatoire. So in a few years' time they might look at me and go, that's fake, it's just not, she didn't go.
We're not saying that
between the two.
We're not saying that they're cheap, but
that can be collector's item. I'd done my one through the UHI because I could stay up here in Shetland and teach at the same time and do it as a remote one, so I'd done my one that way. But it's good and great to have the chance to do these things. And of course, for yourself getting down into Glasgow, after having been up and flocked in the nightlife's a bit, just a slight bit livelier.
Yeah, just a little bit. The sessions
Yeah,
are about on
yeah.
par with each other. The sessions were very good in Plockton, and the sessions are very good in Glasgow. So,
Yeah.
I just feel really lucky.
And but I think the Glasgow thing gives you so much opportunity to meet other people and things, doesn't it? It's just and mix match the music. You're talking about mashing music. The natural place for it going to happen is Glasgow just now.
Yeah.
Because it does seem to be just a melting pot just now. It seems to be
Yeah.
working brilliant.
Fabulous. Yeah. Endless
people
names
coming
spring
up.
to mind when you say that.
So when you went down there, what groups were you playing with then, though, before the mash month? You were playing with...
Also, before lockdown, LAS, just spelled LAS, that was a... so that'll be coming back around again, I'm sure. We'll be able to play some festivals and stuff again. That's just a lovely bunch of folk. We do... try to make it 50-50 Scottish-Irish, because the lineup is kind of 50-50 Scottish-Irish, and loads of hard shoe dancing, both Scottish step dancing and Sean-Os Irish step dancing as well. So the whole point of it is really to explore the differences and the similarities between the two dance and music traditions. So that's with Joy
really
Dunlop
interesting.
and Grania Brady and Catherine Nihuluan and Adele Nichurin as well. So great fun.
Brilliant. That would be great fun, and having Joy there, you'll always know what the weather's going to be like the next day.
Yep. Well, she gets it first. She should tell.
Yeah, that's it. If it's going to rain, it rains on her first. So that's fine. So
great to work with.
But great to tour. Are you looking forward to touring again sometime? You missed it.
Yeah, I mean, it's striking a balance, I guess, between that kind of side of it and then the kind of more local gigs, just for the convenience, and the wedding gigs. I was actually thinking about your question. What's the worst gig you've ever... Oh, no, it wasn't even gig. It's just what's the worst job you've ever done. And I was humming and hawing for the first 5 minutes of the show, in case you asked me. And I was like, well, I think the wedding gig is both potentially the best and the worst job you will ever do.
That's
and the
right.
funny thing is, you set off, you leave the house and you're rolling a dice that you don't know whether this one's going to be one of the very best or one of the very worst. But I love doing that, work with a couple of wedding bands regularly, and that'll hopefully come back around a bit this year, as well as
I remember doing
next year.
Doing a wedding in Cayley with a well-known agency, and we turned up and we did the first 45-minute set. Not a single person was dancing. It was a dry wedding. There was no alcohol. That was the most difficult night of my life. It's like, come on, let's go. Yeah. No, nothing. Okay, keep playing. Hopefully somebody will start.
Yeah,
It's
it can be
strange when a lot of my work at various weddings and things as well through the summers and things, and obviously that's all gone just now. But over the years in Shetland, I have played at one woman's wedding 3 times now. I have played at her wedding 3 times.
Is it the same wedding or 3 different people?
No, it's 3 different husbands.
Okay, that's fine.
But I did keep, every time I saw her, I thought I'd recognise you again, and then when it came the 3rd time, I thought, wait a minute. So I kind of spoke to her and said she really should have spoke to us about a discount, if she was wanting to make it a regular thing, she could possibly, we could come to some sort of agreement, But she said she was never sure when she needed it. That was the problem.
That's the problem, isn't it?
Could be 6 months, could be 2 years, so that was it.
On that note, we're
So
going to
that-
bring it. We're
Yeah,
going to bring it
that's
back
all.
round. So we're going to have a listen to your A Man's a Man, Rutherglen Road mashup. How long ago was this that you recorded this? It looks like Christmas in the video.
Oh no, a couple of videos just look like Christmas because I really like pretty lights.
That's fine. Okay.
So no, I think it was about 4 years ago.
4 years ago,
This one came about. As I say, that was the first one.
the original. So let's have a listen.
Is there for honest poverty that hangs his head and all that? The coward slave, we pass him by, we dare be poor for all that. But all that and all that, your toil's obscure
fantastic. I was just thinking there, you've got your left hand doing the chords, you've got the right hand doing the tune, and you're singing a different melody for the vocals.
Yeah.
As you do.
Yeah. And
That's
there's other things going on in my head as well. Like, Steve, don't go too fast, Steve, don't go too fast. And, oh yeah, many other things.
that's Davey. That's almost as clever as an accordion player.
Hey.
That's why it's not. That's why your mic's not working. It's not plugged in.
David doesn't like it when I bring that one.
Yeah.
Saying that, I'm not very good singing, so I couldn't really sing and play the accordion. But absolutely brilliant. Sounded fantastic. And I see lots of people saying, "Wow, what I think you're doing."
So you've recently been doing a few other things, Suzanne. You've been doing. You did the Celtic Connections mini concerts for the primary school age, didn't you, this year?
Yeah, that was really fun. That was just going online. As with so many things, your typical year-on-year audience was local and suddenly became global.
Yeah.
It's been the same with a few other projects that I've done, and it was the case with this because anyone could share them anywhere. So,
yeah.
And I know that they were certainly sort of specifically shared around all the Scottish schools, whereas it would have just been the Glasgow schools that would have been invited to the concert hall or gotten artists visiting their schools, one or the other or both. But it's really nice that the whole of Scotland, all the Scottish schools, got sent these links for these videos, and obviously anyone around the world could access them as well. So it was nice. Yeah, it was
something a bit different, because I think that's one of the things that's missing from kind of primary school age, anyways, is the trad music and things like that. Because it's luck. Now
it's luck. It's where you are. It's the skills that maybe your teacher or teachers in the school are coming with, and
well, we had Dolly O'Rourke on a few weeks ago, and she was a head teacher at a primary school, and her background was kind of traditional songs from Glasgow and that, so she did that in classes. So when she had to kind of cover for classes, she was kind of like, right, let's sing some songs because I'm not teaching you maths.
Well, it's phenomenal. Not to go down a rabbit hole too much, but you know the research into music education, and then how literacy and numeracy and everything else improves as well if they're getting the music education. So I'm all for it, and I do a lot of educational work, week by week, of right from 18 months old. Actually, it's
I think the thing is when
I
mean, I'm teaching in schools from primary 5 to right to seniors leaving, and you definitely notice in the different schools you teach in as well that, as we say, it's a bit of lottery sometimes. But if you get a head teacher or an assistant head teacher or something that's passionate about music, that'll feed right down through the school.
Yeah.
And but you may get a head teacher that's into science, and that will feed right down through the school.
Yeah, which is just as valuable as well. Yeah, so it's just luck, isn't it?
It's just that. But it is really, really nice when you get a school that you just walk into that everything's clicking and it's great. And then everybody asks questions like, why do they have such a good concert every year and things like that? Well,
do you know that's how I accidentally ended up playing the ukulele? Is because the work was there to teach ukulele through Face Ross.
all right.
And this would have been 10 years ago now. But I sort of went through the interview process with an organisation who I know quite well anyway, and got the job. Great. And I auditioned, with my sort of piano, whistles, vocals, accordion kind of stuff. And my flatmate at the time, so a wonderful guitar player, she auditioned for the same job, and we both got it. There was I think 12 positions or something. She's a guitar player, mind. And when we both got the job, she got put in whistle and I got put in ukulele, and we were just looking at each other like, no. But they did it on purpose because they knew I had the skills to go in and teach beginner ukulele and therefore gain a new skill. Yeah. And likewise with the whistle, they trusted that she could go and teach beginner whistle and gain a new skill. So it was, so I've got Face Ross to thank for the other thing that's kept us busy during lockdown, because myself and my husband have both actually, because Steve works for Face Ross for the same thing, and so we've both accidentally become ukulele players. thanks to the education system, through the need to have teachers. We were those tutors that were just a couple of pages ahead of who we were teaching at the start, but obviously have kind of taken to it, and yeah, now we're running this YouTube channel off it.
Yeah, so the new hit single to take Twitter by storm, like the sea shanty chap, will be a duo of uke players. There you go.
Oh, well, you just never know, do you? We did.
This could be you.
Apparently, so one of the most recent ones we did was "Break My Stride," like this massive '80s number. But I heard it on I heard it on BBC Radio 2, and ran home. And it was like, Steve, we have to do "Break My Stride" as the next song on the YouTube channel. And I thought it was just by chance that I'd heard it and latched onto it. But I think the reason that Radio 2 were playing it is because it had been a big TikTok sensation. So I was like, okay,
Yeah.
fair enough. It was almost like, oh, they beat us to it. They beat us to it. But anyway, we do all sorts of, like, any, you know, we prefer doing the folky stuff. We've done a few James Taylor songs, and we've got a Joni Mitchell one coming up, and Beatles are always really popular. But basically anything that we think folk would enjoy playing. This is learners on the ukulele.
Like that as well.
So we just have play-alongs. Yeah.
Quite a few of the young accordion players came to me asking could they learn the Wellerman thing. Well, that's great. That to me that means it's what, you know, they've been listening to something, which is fantastic. You know.
Well, Steve rewrote the songs to the lyrics, pardon me, to the Wellerman with his schools that we've been teaching this term. I wish I could remember the lyrics right now. It's quite funny. This is just anything that gets them into, well, these are working songs, you know. It's a little stepping stone into some phenomenal, you know, working songs from the Gaelic tradition as well as the Scots tradition, and further afield as well. So yeah, no bad thing.
Yeah. What other songs have we got up your sleeve? Davey's got charged list of them.
I know what's coming. No. Coming.
No, next we'll do that. So you're going to do a set of jigs for us, Suzanne, aren't you?
Oh yes, okay. I've got the giggles because I know what the other pre-recorded video is. But no, I'll play some jiggles.
Yeah.
But you're not allowed to arrange for the internet to break down after this.
No.
So your jigs. So what are the jigs for tonight, Suzanne?
So the first one is in E major because it's just my favourite key, and this is one of my own jigs that I wrote for my mum because her maiden name initials were JCB. How cool! Like, how cool is that? So it's called the JCB jig for my mum. And then I'll go into a fantastic tune from the English folk tradition called Horizontal. It's really good. Yeah, so E major to E minor.
How could you never do what your mum told you when she was called JCB? You would just have to say, that's it, get on it. She's a fool.
She's so lucky to have that. She's got a ring that says JCB on it because that was like a really beautiful, kind of delicate and everything, but with JCB, just like, yes, that's so good. So here we go, JCB jig and Horizontal.
Perfect. Great.
Okay.
That's brilliant. That is brilliant.
Thanks so much.
Yep.
Yeah, just
I love the way you-
two of my favourite ones to play. Just
I love the way you
Yeah.
play with them. I love the way you play with them and make them yours.
thank you so much.
So the second, what was the second key?
E minor.
E minor. Yeah, was that? I was
But
thinking E minor.
it's just the third part of that is just the perfect opportunity to use the autumn leaves chords, but I save it until the so that was if you recognise the sort of slow down at the end, that's your autumn leaves. So yeah, a total treat of a tune, horizontal that last one.
So it's almost
See when
a mashup.
you said you, what kind of stuff were you doing in wedding bands and things like that when you got them? Just covers and stuff like that? Or?
Keith, well, my background's Kayleys. I started doing the kind of wedding Kayleys really young, and then found that if I learned all the covers, I'd get twice as many gigs. So went and learned all the covers. So yeah, Kaylee and covers, great fun. Like I said, the best and worst gigs of your life.
What
but
Kaylee bands
I
did you
missed
play?
them terribly. So Cara is the busiest one, I guess, before everything stopped.
Okay.
So they're kind of 50-50 Kaylee and covers, but
Right.
lots of other kind of ad hoc step-ins to Kaylee bands and stuff as well.
I think that's what's happening nowadays, because I mean, my dance band that I have up here, we're pretty similar. We're kind of half and half what we do, you know, and even the lineups of the bands. Up in Shetland, a band used to be accordion, fiddle, piano, and drums kind of style thing. Whereas now we're accordion, fiddle, electric guitar, and kit kind of style thing. And because you have to be, because people are, that's what we're wanting, you know. We're wanting a mixture.
Well,
and
this
if you wanted
is
to be the guy that
what
was
I'm
getting the-
hoping when things open up again. I'll speak to the boss at Cara and see if she's up for blasting into Ain't a Mountain High Enough in the middle of Virginia Reel. Like, it'll be fine. We just play the musical grease.
Absolutely.
It's stinking of subtlety. It's fine.
Why not? Why not? Why not? And it could be quite interesting the way that one could end up.
As long as you keep the tempo up there, it's fine.
Well, see,
That's the mantra for what we do, Davey. It's like that's it.
Yeah.
As long as you keep the tempo up,
But you know-
that's fine. Everything will be fine.
but when you look at it, when you look at modern dance, rave, whatever you want to call it, music, the tempos are all the same, really. They're damn near the same as what we do when we're doing traditional music around. So there's nothing to say you can't mix master at all.
I won't say that I've not witnessed a Strip the Willow in a nightclub in Glasgow.
Yeah, certainly.
I've just remembered
Hey,
something. A few years ago, I did a gig. It was a birthday gig, and it was kind of a thrown together thing. And we did Fleetwood Mac's "The Chain" in A minor with the Sleepy Maggie. That works quite well.
Oh, yeah. You not find,
Even-
but
even
you
though-
not find for somebody, isn't that quite interesting? That's another couple you mentioned. It's now the minor tunes seem to float into things.
Yeah.
they float into things more than the major tunes. No way that is.
Not this last.
No, not this last
video
one.
clip.
Well, no,
This is very major. This is about as major as they come. This last video clip. I'm quite.
Yeah, this next one deserves a video. I mean, this
Yes.
needs a video.
We might as well go for that now. So, the tune that you're playing along with it, it's Patsy Reed's. What's it called again?
Patsy Reed's "Welcome to the Alvey Bothy" by Charlie McHerron, and it's up there with one of my favourite reels. Probably top 2 or 3 favourite reels of all time. Just a perfect tune. Learned from the playing of Session A9, who are one of these bands where you listen to their music and you think, oh yeah, they're playing about the same speed as a session, or about the same speed that I practice, because they just sound, it's so tight and it's so relaxed.
Yeah.
And you just think, oh yeah, that's this kind of average real speed, and then you go and try and join in, and you're like, no, it's not. It's definitely not. So their playing of Patsy Reed's is just on fire, but so chilled at the same time. So like, epic. So yeah, I got the tune from them, and did this.
Yeah, we're not going to say anything more. See if anyone can recognise it.
Let's do it.
Let's go for
Here
it.
we go. Just if we can't dance in the background.
There's no need to feel down, I said, young man. Get yourself off the ground, I said, young man. 'Cause you're in a new town, there's no need to be unhappy, young man. There's a place you can go, I said, young man. When you're short on your dough, you can stay there. And I'm sure you will find many ways to have a good time. Young man, are you listening to me? I said, young man, what do you wanna be? I said, young man, you can make all your dreams, but you've got to know this one thing. No man does it all by himself. I said, young man, put your pride on the shelf and just go there to the YMCA. I'm sure they can help you to stay young man. I was once in your shoes, I said I was down and out with the blues. I thought no man cared if I were alive. I thought the whole world was so jive. That's when someone came up to me and said, young man, take a walk up the street. There's a place there called the YMCA. They can start you back on your way. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. They have everything for young men to enjoy. You can hang out with all the boys. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. You can get yourself clean. You can have a good meal. You can do whatever you feel.
Yes,
You're allowed
that
to
is-
laugh now, Suzanne.
Yes.
You're allowed to laugh now.
that's cracking. That
That wasn't even. That seems like the perfect lockdown activity. But that, like, for a musician, a geeky musician like me. But no, that was pre-lockdown. That was before the world shut down. I was just doing that anyway.
That's just fun.
That
So-
was nothing why we went in. Nothing why we went into the lockdown, was it? They heard that stuff.
So that's
Just as
basi-
contagious.
definitely. So that's kind of so that coupled with the ukulele tutorials, that's kind of where you're at the moment, isn't it? So
Yeah, I mean, honestly, come August, I really want to push myself to take this as a kind of project and really, give it way more attention, way more regularity, promote it a bit more because, it's just been there's been a few. I think I've done 5 over 4 years. So it's just, but it's terribly addictive looking for them, and they have to really rock. They have to really match. But that would be a really nice thing, just to spark that creativity again. And we've been doing roughly a ukulele play along every fortnight, every 10 days or every fortnight for the whole of lockdown. So that will continue. Hopefully get more. So.
Is that the website people can go to for YouTube? Or
that's the ukulele play along. So even if you don't play the ukulele, just buy one.
Okay.
Check it
so
out.
there you go, folks. Just check that out. That's one. And what about albums and things? Albums. Have
So
you got some albums and CDs out as well?
there's merch up on the website that you showed earlier on that SuzanneScottsMusic.com. There's a couple albums and a tune book there as well, actually. Yeah, so I did a tune book where I took 5 of the, I think it's like 40 tunes, and then 5 of them I arranged at the back fully for piano because there's not an awful lot out there in terms of published traditional folky style piano. So it's the full sort of, kind of like the jigs I did there, where you can play it solo, the tune in the right hand, and some nice parallel movement and harmony and stuff. So
because usually the piano player usually the piano player gets stuck with a melody with a chord symbol below it, and that's it.
But no, I love playing the tunes on the right hand. That's definitely that's my passion. In fact, the best comment I ever had playing in a pub session, a session that I did for 11 years in Glasgow. So there were many kind of drunk folk would come up and, hey, that was great. But there was one guy just come up, just stared at my right hand for a good wee while of playing some reels, and he was just like, it's just like a bag of frozen carrots. The little frozen carrots, the little ones. I said, yes. I said, thank you. He said, you're welcome. That was in my way. But I was like, I'm going to take that as a compliment because I think I know what he means. He just kind of gestured, you know the little frozen carrots. But yes, thank you.
You should put that on a poster.
A Norwegian once told me I made his ears sweat. Do
you want to know what my 4-year-old said? I was practicing. Because I'm not really match fit at the moment, so I was practicing quite a lot today, and I was playing through the jigs, and the 2 of them were dancing behind me, and the older one, the 4-year-old, I got halfway through horizontal, and she was like, Mum, my heart hurts. Because she was so out of breath. She's not used to that. She was like jumping around dancing, and so I could see she was getting a sweat on, and she was like, "Mum, my heart hurts." Like totally confused. It's like, you can stop dancing if you want. So again, I'll take it as a compliment.
You should.
Absolutely brilliant.
No, that's been cracking.
Suzanne, it's been absolutely fantastic having you on. Thanks very much
so much for having me. It's been a right laugh.
And listen, as all your new projects come out, please get us in touch and use this platform to promote them. And send in stuff, and we'll put it onto our Facebook pages and our YouTubes and all that for you as well.
Great.
So
thanks so much.
Fantastic. It's great. Been great having you on. Really nice to meet you, and we'll catch up in real life somewhere.
Yeah, definitely. Peter. Thank you. Thanks so much.
See you again soon.
And I'll make sure my microphone's working.
Well, yeah, that'll help.
We could do it in real life. You won't need one. Imagine that.
Hey!
One day.
Excitement.
Nice,
thanks, Suzanne. Thank you.
Cheers,
Take care.
Thank you.
Bye. Oh man. That was brilliant.
It's just such a joy to hear songs, like kind of songs that are everyone knows and everyone can sing along to, and hearing cracking trad tunes there as well. Just
such a joy to hear something that's so joyous after last year and a half we've had. What an amazing, just fantastic.
Yeah, I think
What a
apart from
drive.
apart from the obvious kind of issues with Corey, I think it's kind of missed Suzanne's house because she's had the kids to deal with and all that sort of stuff. So it's kind of like, let's bypass it. It's fine. No, we can't go to Tesco, but
fine,
the kids, yeah. No, that's cracking.
I'm getting depressed that my Yeti microphone's not working for me here, and thought about throwing it out the window, but I fear it is much more solid than my window. So
Open the window first.
That would be expensive then, wouldn't it? So I don't think we'll go that way. I think we'll maybe
Oh, dearie me.
possibly just. It's going to get it. It's going to get it. As soon as I'm finished, that microphone is getting it.
Peter,
And then it'll be
have
something
you read
like-
have you read that comment there?
No, what did it say? Yeah, a Bruce Lee movie. You know. But the thing is that, you know what's so annoying? And this, I'm going to tell you the truth, what is going to happen here. We've done this whole hour and stressed myself in 2 hours, and then it's all going very swimmingly nice. And then Karen will come through and press about 3 buttons on the laptop and it'll work again.
Yeah.
You know? And then I just have to go, That's all I can do. And then I have to admit defeat once again.
Well, so we can get round to that quicker, let's invite our next guest on.
Yeah, that's a really good idea.
Yeah.
Really, really good idea. I'm delighted to have this lady on the show at last. I've been trying to get her to come on the show for a wee while. And we're working our way through Blazing Fiddles.
One left.
And there's one left. There's one left after this lady. So who are we welcoming? We're welcoming Anna Massey. Can we bring Anna on and see how she's doing?
Hello.
Hello, Anna.
Hi, Anna. Hi, Anna.
Who's left?
You're
Who's last on your hit list from Blazing Fiddles?
Rue.
Rue.
Oh, he's a very busy man. A very busy man, Rue McMillan.
Yeah, he's the one. But we're getting you all gradually. We're snaring you. Angus Lyon was straight on it, but you know what Angus is like. Oh yeah,
Oh, he's very keen.
He was there before. Oh yeah, he was. No bother. Do you want me to lamb a sheep while I'm doing the interview? You know, do you want?
Could believe it.
I can play the accordion and lamb a sheep at the same time. You know.
And then mix a couple of albums at the same time.
Yeah. You know, a couple of years ago, I had an absolutely brilliant night down at the farm with Angus. I just have a total fascination about farming and crofting. I don't know why, I just love it. I find it so interesting, and everybody I follow on Instagram is like farmers. There's farmers, a few folk musicians and farmers. That seems to be it, and it's largely very wholesome content. But a few years ago, Angus said, "Well, why don't you come down to the farm for a night and do a night shift with me at the lambing, and I'll show you how it all works." Oh my God, it was just brilliant, and Angus and I have been playing together for a long time now, and he knows exactly how to press my buttons and how to make me do things. And so he'd showed me lambing one sheep, and then he'd said, "You'll do the next one, yeah?" Knowing that I would go, "Yeah, of course I will." Like thinking, so it was all mind games. But cut to like 15 minutes later, there I was, fully invested, lambing a ewe with twins. And it was amazing. We did the whole night shift, and it's that kind of like spaced out thing of like you've been up all night and like the sun's coming up and it's cold because their lambing happens in April, and it was just absolutely brilliant. And I drove back to Glasgow at like 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning, just like, none of you know what I know now. None of you have seen the things I've seen. Absolutely brilliant. So he's a multi-talented guy, Angus.
Oh yes. When I was brought up about I was brought up about five miles up the road from there, from where Angus was, and we used to go down and the bit of water in the front of the studio there. I was more into trout fishing rather than lambing. So I used to be out in front of there splashing about all the time while he was trying to record something dainty. But we've known each other for years, so it's great one, great one. So, tell us, you've been up to lots of things, lots and lots of things through lockdown. You've kept yourself very
I
busy.
have. Yes, my folks kept me quite busy, and when it looked like, so last March, there was this sort of threat of this kind of virus that looked like it might be quite serious, and we were very lucky with Blazing Fiddles actually that we had a tour just the very end of February, and I think our last gig was on something like the 9th of March, and we were so lucky that we managed to do the whole tour, and then I had a week of like the strangest, most unusual thing I've ever done, where I was doing a week of research and development for a circus show, the idea of which this circus show was going to tour village halls in Scotland. So it was all like floor acrobatics, no sort of trapeze or anything, everything that could be done in a hall without big high ceilings, and with folk musicians. So I did that down in, where were we? We were sort of, there's a place in Canada, somewhere down in Argyll. I was there for a week, and then it looked like, oh, this is getting more serious. And then there was this idea that maybe they were going to shut everything down for 3 weeks. And I thought, oh, I don't fancy being trapped in my flat in Glasgow for 3 weeks with nothing to do. I'll go up and visit my folks, and I can sort of do a couple of jobs around the house. I can go and paint the deck at the caravan. And so I went home for 3 weeks to the Black Isle, and I stayed until September. Because everything locked down, but then I ended up just having I'm very lucky because I had an absolutely brilliant lockdown. I really, really enjoyed it, and I ended up making these little daily videos. It started off as a thing for Live at 5 with Bruce McGregor on the McGregor's Bar Facebook page. That was going to be, for the 3 weeks we'll be doing music for you every day, and I was then going to be the Black Isle correspondent, sort of filling him in on what was happening 8 miles along the road. And then these daily videos became, like, it went on. I think by the time I stopped the daily bit of it, I think there were 106 days with activity. And Mum and Dad, I'm very lucky, they're very good crack, they're very patient, and they're very supportive. And they got involved, our dogs got involved. Sometimes it was music, sometimes it was things like hosing out a wheelie bin, sometimes it was cleaning gutters. Mum was on the quest for the perfect pancake recipe. So it was just like little snippets of our daily lives. But I think we were just doing the same stuff that everybody was doing. Like, you couldn't get Ron Seal or Cupranol at B&Q because everyone was painting their fences. You couldn't, you couldn't get flour because everyone was trying to perfect their pancake recipe. So it was brilliant. I feel very lucky that I had such a nice time.
But let's be honest, most folk would want to watch Sonny McPhail, weren't they?
Yeah, I mean, like, they were, oh, great tunes, that's really nice. When are the dogs coming back? The two Black Labs were really the greatest hit of it. And there was also our next door neighbour, Alex, had got a puppy about 3 weeks into lockdown. He got this beautiful little spaniel pup called Miles, and we were like so determined not to touch him because we didn't know if he could clap somebody's dog or not. So Miles was a bit of a hit as well. And Sonny and McPhail remain the viewers' favourites. Like, anytime the dogs are involved, like, it's a guaranteed view winner.
We actually lost both our black dogs in the first black Labradors in the first lockdown. They both died. It was just of old age, and they'd been together all their times, and we lost the first one, and the last one just pined within about a fortnight. So we kind of dog lost through the lockdown, which was terrible. But there's a new puppy coming next month, so that's good.
What puppy are you getting?
Well, it's a little puppy this time. For Angus has wanted a Bichon Frise, one of the little white ones. So it's a little.
One to match Peter's hair.
So it's cool. Realistic. But
what's
did you not
happening
find
in the cage behind you? What's this animal? Is it a chinchilla?
Oh no, I thought I'd hidden that. That's the children. Hold on. No, it's a chinchilla. Yeah. There's a chinchilla.
Excellent.
Yeah. Do you know something? He's about 20 years old now, and he had a brother that died 10 years ago, and everybody told me when his brother died that he would die, but he's never died. He's still here. So 20 years.
Look at him going.
But yes, he's in a big can you see him? He's in a big cage. Got a
Yeah,
big tree up the middle of the cage so she can run up and down to he's hiding up the
that's a custom inbuilt cupboard, chinchilla cupboard, is it?
Yeah, it was like where there used to be a chimney, you know, in the middle, so we took this side bit and
Good
Davy
style.
Jimison, the drummer from so that's where we've got the move chinchilla. And
So the one-
chinchillas were called Ebony and Ivory, and I don't know what one that is. Can't
Oh.
remember what one snuffed it.
Does Karen remember which one it is?
No, nobody can remember.
No. Yeah.
But that's it. Anyway, listen, we're going to get a track for Anna here.
We're going to get the fantastic writing skills of Anna, and she wrote this. It's quite late. Oh, that's Ebony. It's Ebony that's there, Peter.
Ebony.
Ebony, yeah.
Oh, is it? Okay, I'll get it out for the next time you come back and let you see it.
And that's the chinchilla. So
Yeah, no, the chinchilla, yeah. It's only 9:15.
so this song you wrote as part of, obviously, during the Black Hill Correspondent, because you kept on got letters from folk, didn't you, to see how you were and getting
Yeah.
parcels and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really lovely. I can't remember what started it, but people started writing. It's one of the joys of living in a village. People started writing letters addressed to Anna Massey, musician, or Anna Massey,
Right.
Black Hill Correspondent, Fortrose, and that was it. And so, from a really small place, and it turned out that Sheila the postie had been watching the videos as well, and so she knew who these letters
What
were
was
for.
going
So
on?
things started turning up. The best thing that arrived actually was a package arrived, and it was just a gift pack for the dogs. And it was a lady called Linda from down in near Barnard Castle, which was very topical around the time actually. But she had sent this care package. In one of the videos, I mentioned that the older dog McPhail had a slightly arthritic right shoulder, and she sent this like turmeric tablets for the dog, and there were chew toys and throwing toys. It was like the dogs got fan mail, but it was so lovely. So friends started writing, but also people that had been enjoying the correspondence had written. And there was one lady in the little sort of little title song video. I put a cup of tea down on the table, and that was, I think, one of the very first episodes that was in. And most people were offended because the tea looks so weak. It's so white. It was weak tea with loads of milk in it. It's an awful looking cup of tea. But this lady was so offended by the fact that it went down on bare wood, and she'd made a set of coasters for me and sent me them. So there was this absolutely really lovely, kind,
Yeah.
charming correspondence that I got from folk. So it just, this song
It's
kind of
such nice things.
popped in my head.
I mean, I done the same kind of thing with the tunes in the house, and I started playing a tune every day in my bedroom. I can't mind how I done 150 the first time or something, and then. But as you say, some of the things that come are amazing. There was one of these big clay jars of maple syrup. Maple syrup arrived
right.
from Canada. This huge big thing arrived from Canada, and the Struffel, is it Struffel biscuits? What's that Dutch biscuit?
Oh, the Stroop waffles.
Stroop waffles. There was a huge box of them arrived from the factory with all the recipes. It was really nice. It was brilliant. And people kept saying, and I'm sure you're like me. Folk kept saying, "Thanks for keeping us going. Thanks for keeping us going," and we're actually going. But it's actually keeping us going as well.
Yeah.
Doing this.
Yes,
Keeping us
absolutely.
going.
It was very much the thing
Okay.
that kept us going. It was great to have a focus, and it was really lovely that there was a bit of interaction, and it just,
Yeah.
I guess, when everybody was so closed off at that time, it made the world feel a little bit smaller and a little bit less isolated. When people were saying, "Oh, we're going to have to go and try that," and "Oh, yeah, actually, our stairs are needing painted," or it was
Yeah.
kind of nice to have that sense of community about it.
Somebody did send me a pork pie from somewhere in England, though, and by the time it got to Shetland, no, it kind of walked
That's
out
not-
the
that's
parcel
not-
itself. That wasn't it?
not taking the post.
Great. Your dogs wouldn't even have wanted that one. I don't
So
anyway, song. Go on.
yeah,
Some music.
let's hear the lyrical writings of Anna Massey with "Thanks for Writing."
Be my pen pal, write to me. We'll both get something from the postie, much better than the bill. Thanks for writing. I got your note, the one you wrote to say hello. Thanks for writing. First name, surname, number, road, village, region, postcode. Don't forget a stamp. Thanks for writing. I got your note, the one you wrote to say hello. Thanks for writing. Postcards, how I choose to say I miss your face. By the way, you owe me a pint. Thanks for writing. I got your note, the one you wrote to say hello. Thanks for writing. One of the things I like the most is getting letters in the post to the people of whom I'm most fond. I reply on Basildon Bond. Fancy paper with a watermark, classy touch. Thanks for writing. I got your note, the one you wrote to say hello. Thanks for writing. I got your note, the one you wrote to say hello. You're not alone. Thanks for writing. I got your note, the one you wrote to say hello. You're not alone, even though you're stuck at home. Thanks for writing.
Peter, your camera's off.
How have we done that now? Hold on.
There we go. Hey! Look who's here.
Oh look,
There's the guy.
Ebony!
That's him.
What a dude!
Yeah. Got a big long tail.
And he's gone.
Magic.
That's
Yeah.
Ebony.
Peter's just...
long.
Pe-
That's him. So he's
Brilliant.
He's now playing for the sympathy vote, isn't he?
Hey, Cam keeps hoping that Ebony will someday bite the dust so she can make a bookshelf in the corner, but I prefer Ebony.
To Karen or to the bookshelf?
That's him.
No answer.
You know, people say where do they come from, but they actually come from Peru. But this one didn't. He came from Bixter, just about 10 miles up the road in Shetland. He's never seen Peru in his life. But, and they can live to about 25-year-old, and you can't let them near water or they drown because the fur's so dense that they would just go under.
No, the only one that do that.
It's not like a gremlin that he turns into a nasty thing that wrecks your house. It's just
He looks like one.
It could be, couldn't it? Could be nasty.
Cute.
Be nasty. It's not nasty. It's just, anyway, fantastic.
That's Josh
What other
cracking
things
song.
have you- what other things have you been up to, Anna? I'm going to put them back.
So when I was up at home, I was mainly just doing blackout correspondence stuff, and then I moved back down to Glasgow at the start of October. I came back down for a couple of months for some work. I was producing a couple of albums and recording for a few other folk, and Blazing Fiddles were doing some filming for the BBC Scotland Hogmanay show and Celtic Connections. And so there was a few things like that going on that were based in Glasgow. So that took me back down here, kind of getting back to the sort of more worky side of things. I do a bit of tune book tune book transcription. Actually, Davey and I have worked on John McCusker's book together recently. So a few things like that on the go. And my plan was always to go back home to the Black Isle around Christmas time when that work finished. But the work kind of got further and further into December, and then the lockdown rules changed, and I wasn't allowed to go home. So I was then down in Glasgow for the second lockdown that we had over the winter, and that kind of worked out okay because I ended up doing a bit more studio stuff and recording stuff and a wee bit of presenting work as well. So it's been really varied, and although there's not been any touring, there's been a real mixed bag of work, and I've really enjoyed it. I've missed the touring stuff a lot, but I feel very lucky in that the work I've ended up doing during lockdown has all been stuff I really enjoy. It's kind of nice to. I suppose everyone's had a period of enforced reevaluation and assessing what it is that you do, and I've realised that I really enjoy a lot of these elements. The stuff that you can do from home has been really good for me.
I think a lot of people finding the same, and I think possibly a lot of people, if you do get back to being on road, how often do we hear musicians burning out over the years so much because they're touring?
Yeah.
This has maybe been like a wee natural check out, guys, and have that year and a half that you're, just sitting back for it a wee bit, and once you go into it again, you've got a bit more go again kind of style thing. So, because it's interesting speaking to some musicians saying they didn't really think they would go back to touring again. I've heard 2 or 3 saying that they think like doing the internet thing. I remember when we had JP Conway on that night and doing his set, and JP was very much like, I'm getting on pretty well with this, doing concerts here and workshops online, etc. So cutting down the live schedule quite considerably.
Yeah. No, it's. I think it's going to come. There's going to be a mixture. But a lot of musicians, I think, will go, well, you know what, I'm getting a bigger audience now because I'm not having to tour. I'm getting Australia, I'm getting America, not having to spend 12 hours on a flight. So
yeah, but I think it feels like maybe things are going to end up having to be hybrid. As venues reopen, they can't have the same capacity of crowds. Like we were supposed to, we were really hoping with Blazing Fiddles that we'd have a tour with Hannah Rarity in August this year. We were supposed to do it last year, then it got moved to this year. And we just recently decided actually that won't work because the venues that we're looking to play are only going to be able to have maybe a quarter or a fifth of the capacity, and that might be the same for a while. But everyone's got so used to accessing music in different ways now. You wonder if the future of it is going to be hybrid gigs and venues that have somebody employed to be their sort of streaming coordinator. I think nothing can quite match that thrill of live performance, whether you're on stage or in the audience. It's one of the things I've really missed is going to watch gigs.
Yeah.
But so nothing can. I don't think an online thing can fully replace that. But I think certainly people have loved the fact that they can access stuff from anywhere in the world. I know Celtic Connections was a massive success. A lot of festivals have done online things, but like you guys with your regular reach to all over the world, people tuning in from the States, from the Antipodes, all over, and it feels like although we've been isolated, the sort of music community has really come together online through this last year.
One thing I feel, I think there's more people out there like our music than we ever thought, because I just can't believe the numbers of people that are coming in. When we used to have these discussions about folk music as popular as it was, or that, oh wow, yeah, it is when you see it out there. But I think what it is it's picking up these, you might get 4 people in one northern state in Australia that's into folk music. Well, you're never going to go there and play for them in a tour. It ain't worth it. But you get that 4 people, and you get 4 people in the next state, and 4 people in the next state. And all of a sudden, you've got a wee live audience on of 100 just for that northern tip. And it makes it all worthwhile then, and then they see it. And but I think if anything, the internet side can enhance it, and we can use it more to promote stuff as well when we're going live. And I don't think it's going to ever replace, but it'll. It's done. I'm glad I've been here for the last year and a half.
Aye, the online thing though, I think what we've seen particularly with Live at 5 is people are really into it, but they maybe don't know that there are another 3 people in their state that are also into it, and they've found it by themselves, or like, or people who would never have bumped into each other. Like we've got on Live at 5, there's a couple that watch every week, and they're in Washington State, and there's somebody in Texas that always tunes in. We've got somebody in Boston. And then there are folk in Bankery. There are people just down the road from the pub in Inverness. We've got folk in England and people from Cromarty that now live in Spain. But the thing is, they all chat, and the way the chat goes on the Facebook thing is they're all like, "Oh hi, who's first in the pub?" And it feels like that community thing. And actually, just this morning, Mum and Dad had visitors from Stonehaven that they've never met, but they've been saying hello to on the Live at 5 chat for a year now. And they were up in the pub on Friday night and just decided to come for a cup of coffee in the house. And similarly, last week, a lady that lives in Glasgow that's been watching all year decided she was going to come to McGregor. She was going to come to Inverness for 2 nights. And a week later, she was still there, having met all these people she's been getting the crack with online, to the point where she bought a house in Inverness at the end of her week-long stay. She's loved it. She's loved the crack in the community so much, and she'd been thinking this whole time, she's like, "Oh, that feels like a great place. I've always fancied living in the Highlands." She came up for a couple of days, stayed a week, and bought a house. It's like I kind of love that, you know, the way that people have met each other.
Was it Bruce selling the house?
That's really good.
Because that makes sense.
But a very good price, a very reasonable price. Though.
Very, very good. Yeah, well thought out price.
But the one thing folk might not know, Anna, about yourself is that you don't just play accompaniment on guitar, you also play fiddle, you play tenor guitar, tenor banjo, and you play tunes on the guitar as well. I
do, yes. Yeah. So the things I play are maybe like, I play the right hand of the guitar, so the plectrum and the picking, and like the mandolin and the banjo and the tenor guitar, they're all the same tuning and same fingering on the left hand as the fiddle. Yeah. So like it feels a wee bit cheeky to claim those as different things, because they're all kind of like a mashup of the two. Like Suzanne was just doing mashups there. Everything else that I do is kind of a mashup of the fiddle and the guitar. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're going to hear
that. They sound different though.
They do.
And they do, and it looks impressive.
Yeah.
We're going to go for
never tell people, don't tell people that. In fact, don't ever mention it.
Just I'm great, yeah. So we're going to hear a classic tune called Neil Gow's Lament for the death of his second wife, which is, who's it by again, Peter?
Neil Gow.
Correct. There's that delay.
What happened to his first wife? Did she ever get a tune?
Yes.
Well, the apocryphal story was that he was only ever married once, and the second wife was the fiddle, and the fiddle got sat on. But I don't know if that is true. Surely there must be proper heartbreak and heartache and mourning and loss to write a tune like this. Surely there was a second wife.
Right, we'll leave that to debate to the audience. There you go then.
I wonder if Pete
Somebody
Clark's
might know.
If Pete Clark's on, he can tell us.
That's right, please, Pete. I'm sure that's wrong.
I'm going to I'll get a dissertation through the post to Pete Clark on Friday. I can hear it coming.
With a pork pie.
Brilliant. Let's hear it. Let's hear it. No more pork pies.
That's
No,
fantastic.
lovely.
Fantastic.
Very nicely played. Real feeling in that. Okay.
It turns out it
Fran
was
Smith
a second
says-
real live lady wife.
Real life.
Yeah, there was a comment there, I can't remember who's
Yeah.
written in that apparently it was
Yeah, I
Fran,
see that.
a real live
And then
wife.
there was
But
an
what
old
a
lady-
shame, because what about the first wife?
Yeah, she needs a tune. We'll have to come up with some. Marjolein de Wilde, there from the Netherlands, said she thoroughly enjoyed it. I think that was
Oh.
Marjolein that sent me the Stroop waffles, I think.
Or was it? Mylan and I, we met
so-
at the Far North Fiddle Retreat. Hey!
Ah,
Yes, we met at a couple of fiddle camps up in Durness on the northwest coast. A couple of years
Yeah,
back.
because as well as performing, a big part of your life has been tutor. I think when it comes to Trad Awards, you've been up for nominations for tutor, instrumentalist, band, everything really, haven't you?
Media.
Yes.
Media.
Yeah, I have. I've also one of my favourite, strangest gig experiences is in the early days of my career. My band were the house band. So whenever they went, and the winner is, and announced it, we were the people that had to go. And we were sitting up in the gallery, and we had to time the tunes, like to finish when people got to the stage,
Yeah.
and it was tense. One of the most tense gigs. It was brilliant. You were asking earlier on about the worst job you've had. It wasn't a bad job, but it was like, it felt like a lot of pressure. And we were going, okay, so we'll have 5 different endings and we'll just work our way through them because people will be really bored of it if we just end it the same way every time. And then we practiced the 5 endings. None of us could remember which was which. And then we just ended up having, it was a bit of a rammy. But yeah, the Trad Awards have always been a great night. And I was really delighted to be nominated this year and to win the Trad Music in the Media Award for the Black Isle Correspondent Carry-On. That was a real surprise, but a real
Magic.
thrill.
So were you in 2 categories this year then?
Well, kind of. I was in the Trad Music in the Media, and then McGregor's Live at 5 was in the, I think that was the Community. I think because you guys with the Tunes in the Hoose.
Yep.
I think that was. I think we were in the same category as you guys for that one.
And then
there was some-
I was in
but
the instrumentalist of the year. Were you not in that as well, though? Were you not?
Yeah, I think I was.
Ah.
Yes. Yes,
yeah, yeah, and I was on that. I was
I
on
think
that one as well.
I think I was either nominated or sort of by proxy in a few things this year, which was really very lovely. I think there had been so much
That's
going
nice.
on. It
Yeah.
felt really lovely to get those nods. But the best bit was having to
absolutely.
go and have this kind of stealthy acceptance speech. I had to let this sort of meet me by the statue in Kelvin Grove at 12:30. Don't tell anyone you're coming. Sort of thing to go and film my acceptance speech. And Ewan Duncan from Beezer Media was doing all the filming of the speeches in Glasgow, and he was so conscientious. They didn't want anybody to know who'd won what. And I had luckily just been at the hairdresser that day. I was like delighted that's when the phone call, can you come on Thursday? I was like, yes! So I came home from the hairdresser, put the face and makeup on, and I thought, well, I've won for the Black Isle Correspondent, and so much of that was doing DIY, wearing my manky old dungarees. So there I was, off to meet you in Kelvin Grove Park, like getting dressed into the dungers with the full hair out to here and the slap on. And he'd been so good about saying, like, oh no, I'll come and meet you. Don't come to the filming spot. He didn't want anybody to know. And then I was just standing by the statue at the top of Kelvin Grove to meet him, and here came Siobhan Miller with a full face of makeup and hair out to here, with her mum and her dad and her baby, and like brand new baby in the buggy. And we both kind of had that knowing look of going, hi, how are you getting on? But neither of us said it. Neither of us said, are you here to meet you and by the statue for your filming? So,
oh, dearie me.
Sounds like some sort of Russian Secret Service thing going on.
yes, I will have the pink carnation. I will have the bowler hat. Click your pen 3 times and all that. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
How about a live one, Anna?
Brilliant.
Yes, sure.
Yeah. we were discussing before Peter got his microphone sorted that Friday
Well, I
was
didn't get my microphone, isn't it
yeah.
sorted? It's still
Yeah.
broke.
Friday was Waterloo Day, Peter.
Yeah.
Not ABBA Waterloo Day. 18th of June, 1815.
Waterloo.
So I think Anna's
Slightly
going to
before
play
my time.
the battle of the song.
It's a great song.
No, not that though, not that.
Not that one, no, the other one. Yeah, so tell us what you're going to give us, Anna.
So I'm going to play you, not ABBA, I'll play you the Battle of Waterloo. If there are any guitarists watching, something that I've been kind of enjoying is trying to work out pipe tunes. There's something really nice about the tuning. I always play in standard or sometimes the occasional drop D tuning, but there's something really lovely about the tuning of the guitar where if you play around your A on the 5th fret, you have this really nice open way of playing the pipe scale. So mucking about with that, I've worked out that the Battle of Waterloo fits really nicely on a guitar. So I'm going to play that, and then I'll play a tune called Laura Drummond's Slip Jig, one that I wrote for a friend. There were 4 of us that were pals at school, and one girl got a tune for her 18th birthday. Someone else got a tune for her 21st, and then Laura had to wait till we turned 30 to get her tune. This is the most recent of the birthday tunes.
That's cracking, Anna.
Thank you.
Somebody said that's the
You're getting
best.
an awful nice sound out your guitar.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks very much. It's
Lovely.
an old Gurian. Actually, I believe it lived in Shetland for a while.
Oh.
Oh,
His name's gone right out of my head. Radio Scotland DJ presenter. His son did the Bake Off.
Tom
Based in
Morton.
Shetland. Tom Morton, yes. I believe Tom owned it for a while. I made a video of that online, and he said, "Oh, is that a Gurian? If so, I think I sold it to a guy in Cromarty, and then I got it from a guy in Inverness to Cromarty." So it's a weird thing of finding out where your guitar's been before you've had it.
We've lost Peter. It's just me. So when you're writing your own tunes, Anna, is it do you specifically pick an instrument first, or is it whatever the melody comes out on, or is it how do you usually work it?
It depends. I think a lot of the time it'll be like sitting with an instrument, then a tune will come.
Yeah.
Rather than a melody, or if the melody comes, you kind of have an idea. It's a weird thing. If a tune comes to my mind, if I'm sort of diddling it, I can sort of feel it. If it's a fiddle tune, I can feel where the notes are and feel how you would play it. So I guess that if it comes to my head, it tends to be a fiddle tune, but the guitar tunes tend to come a little bit more from noodling around chord shapes.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. That's cool. Yeah. We lost you a bit there, Peter.
I use a lot of chord shapes, like chords, when I'm composing accordion tunes even as well. It's amazing how you can make a fairly straightforward sounding melody bar, embellish it an awful lot just with one chord.
Yeah.
Making a huge difference to it, you know. But yeah, I don't know what happened to me there. Like I was giving Chinchilla through the line or something.
He's taking all the flack today.
There's a seal outside the house as well, and it just never stops coughing. I don't know what's wrong with it.
It's got COVID.
It's got this like, and it does it for ages, and then it was throwing fish up into the air, and I could see it from here just doing it. I don't know what's up with it. Strange animal. And it can't be anything wrong with him, because he's been here for about 5 years, and every time at this time of year he turns up and coughs again. You can hear him right through the night, he's coughing away.
It's not a mating call, no?
No, but I'll tell you what, he must be pretty clever, because the killer whales have been about as well, and he always survives them. He's always back coughing the next night again.
Maybe. What about if the cough is actually just a way of making the killer whales think that he's not well and that they shouldn't eat him? He's like,
It's
really clever.
He's
Really
pretty
smart.
exceptional. Don't come near me, I've got COVID, you whale people.
That's right. That's it. And the whales are all like that. No, leave that guy. There's something wrong with him.
Yeah. No, that's not a good fish supper, that one.
No.
But,
Yeah.
but that's what was I going to say? Albums and things, Anna. Where's the best place for folk to go and buy albums?
Actually,
At your
through
website?
everybody else's websites. I don't have anything for sale on my own website. Blazing Fiddle's website and Myrid and Anna for the duo stuff that I do with Myrid Green.
That's very
Rant
good.
Fiddles is the fiddle quartet that I play in. So all of these websites have got things that I'm on, but I don't actually have any solo endeavours for sale. The only thing I have for sale on my website is Blackout Correspondent mugs, because one of the little catchphrases is a lovely cup of tea. So I started making mugs on there. That's the only thing I have of my own to sell.
Oh, that's magic. Yeah, we got a mug to sell as well somewhere at some point in time. We had a tartan tunes.
There you are.
But there you go. You see, there's
If by magic.
But I'm not sure that there's that much money in mugs right enough, but never mind this.
No. I feel a bit like a mug because the way it's set up is that somebody else gets all the money for it, but there we go. It's a bit of crack. It feels a wee bit slack actually to have come this way through, all this way through lockdown and not actually have a new solo album out of it. But I'm working away at it. It's next on the list.
Sometimes.
Well, if you put you should put the Battle of Waterloo set on it, because that was cracking.
Oh, thanks very much.
That's awfully fine. Definitely get them on. You could know bother do one of these multi-tracked albums yourself. And have your own
That is
album,
true.
you know. And then you
Well,
then
it would be good to try.
yeah, well, you
I was
don't
on the phone to Angus like a year ago. I phoned Angus Lyon for some technical advice. And what happened is, anytime I talk to Angus, it costs me a fortune because he goes, "Have you thought about buying this thing?" Like the latest example is these earbuds. Last time I saw Angus, he said, "Oh, I've just got these new Bluetooth headphones," and I was in the market for Bluetooth headphones. So then 3 days later, these arrived off Amazon, of course. But last summer, Angus advised me on a mic and a new interface to buy, so I did that. And then it was this Sphere mic that everybody was buying, and they were so rare you couldn't get them because there was a massive backlog. I finally got the mic in like September, and then it sat on the shelf, and the interface has sat there because I was too worried about spending the £80 on the new lead I needed to get to plug it all into the computer. Then I ended up having to buy a new computer, and the new computer is so new that they don't have the software to use the mic and the interface with. So it's like a total recording fancle is the only way to describe it. So if I actually ever work at my wires and my plugs, I'll get onto the recording.
I would box it all up and send it back to the Lion and tell him to get on with it.
That's it. With an invoice.
And say, I shall be paid in sandwiches or whatever.
Or lambs.
Lambs.
I will take 3 lambs.
Listen, I think we've got another song before we have to lose you.
We do. Yeah. So
is
this what's the background behind this one, Anna?
So actually, you mentioned a little bit earlier on, JP Cormier had been on the programme. This is a song of his. I love the album that he made, Another Morning. I was quite late to it, but it's an absolutely brilliant album. And I learned a couple of the songs from that. I decided that there was no way I was going to try and learn the guitar tunes off it because they're absolutely mental. But the songs are great on it. Like, everybody knows of JP as an absolutely incredible guitarist and great fiddler, but I just love his singing. And he writes such beautiful songs. He's totally fab. So it's a song from that. It's a song called My Life Is Over Again. It's like a country song. That's got loads of the country tropes in it. It's almost like country and western bingo.
The first night I met JP was at a Shetland Folk Festival, and it was 25 years ago, and we were on the same bill up in Mid-Yale, and this is one of the songs he sang because he was promoting the album at the time. And I've never been so spellbound that the concert he done that night was stunning, though. It was an absolutely stunning concert.
Yeah, and that album is still brilliant.
Yeah, and he kind of appealed to that Yale audience as well because, you know, his own background, fishing background, and up there were a fishing background and all that. He just fitted in perfectly.
Yeah.
It was great.
And he looks like a Viking. He looks like he could be in one of the Arrow squads. So.
And one of his new tattoos on his arm was the Shetland Folk Festival logo.
Is that right?
Yeah, this
he's kind of just been adopted as a local up there, hasn't he? He just loves it. It's like a mutual thing. Yeah. So, this is My Life Is Over Again, written by JP Cormier. But this ain't the first you the memory of your warden. I gave you the best 7 months of my life, so move them please, I'll never believe. My life is over again, nothing starts over again. I do not wish that I might go again. Life is over hard lesson learned to know that you get burned when you fire and your lover's heart grows cold. Your mother likes you more than she ever did before. The problem is she's 90 years old. I was born to love and lose, and I surely paid my dues. I learned this lesson from you. So maybe tonight when the moon is shining bright, I'll find someone to break my heart. My life will be over again. Nothing starts over again. I do not wish that I might go again. Life is over again. Won't you not have my story ends? Life is over again.
Round the applause, round the applause. You remember that sound, Anna? I remember people used to clap.
Oh, that's the petrol in the tank.
Oh, dearie me.
Noises come from all your son, isn't it? I think my house is going to.
Oh, we've got noises.
Oh.
You alright?
Yeah, no, I had funny noises coming back, but I don't know what's going on with me. It's going to
Old HP.
self-combust or something. I don't know what's going on. Something strange.
Well,
Anyway,
you have it
Anna,
on
listen, that
camera,
was
you'll get the
fantastic.
you've
Great
been
song.
framed hits in that.
It's only 50 quid now, Anna. It's only 50 quid now.
Did it not used to be 250? I've got a
Yeah.
great video of our old sound engineer jumping on a Pilates ball and smacking his elbow on the concrete floor. I've been saving that for a rainy day. 50 quid!
Yeah.
Strike while the iron's hot, boys. You've
Yeah.
I've waited too long on that
Somebody choking on a Malteser. Choking on a Malteser's not funny anymore, apparently. No.
Ah,
Everything's too staged
Anna,
now.
listen. Yeah. Apart from when I fell off my chair, when I broke the chair in the mid-broadcast one night, that was quite amusing. That was, not for the chair. No, that was good. Anna, listen, thank you so much for coming on. That's been utterly fantastic. It's been a great night having
thank
you
you
on
both
the
for
laugh.
having me.
Got you.
No, thank
It's been
you.
a pleasure.
And hopefully we'll see you so soon. I think, are you booked for Orkney next year again? I think you are.
I hope so. Yeah,
I
it's
think
been
you guys
in the
are.
diary for a few years now, so we're hoping to actually
Yes.
get up there next May.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm the same. I've been booked for the last 2 now again. It'll be nice to get third time lucky. That's what we're hoping. Anyway.
Aye.
Yeah.
So we'll get a good spree. We'll get a good spree if we meet you up there. So.
Aye.
So
We'll see
anyway,
you
listen.
there.
Thank you so much. Say hello to your folks. Say hello
I
to
will
your folks.
do.
Say hello to the dogs.
Yep.
And if you ever need a Shetland bit in the Black Isle correspondent, give us a shout. I'll come up with some waffle.
Brilliant.
Where to get your Shetland black tatties or something.
Perfect.
Yeah.
We had one in the tatty patch
Anyway,
last
thanks
year
very
and it
much,
failed,
Anna.
so I
Thanks
need
for
to get
giving
my
up your
hands on
time to
another
come on.
Cheers, lads.
Cheers, Anna.
Bye-bye.
What, a black tatty?
She was saying that they failed. They failed last year.
She's gone.
She's gone. It's just me and you now.
What?
Just the two of us.
The Shetland black tatties?
Aye, they failed. Yeah.
Really? Well, I think they're a bit pernickety, the Shetland black tatties, where they grow, I think. They're a bit, because my dad tried to grow them down in the borders and they were just come out as wee tiny things.
At least they grew.
So that's that. Yeah. Right, that was a very good night. I'm going to go away now and do my head in trying to get my microphone working.
Just ask Karen. She'll fix it in a second. Yeah. Done.
Well, there's something going on. There's something going on. Anyway. No chinchillas were harmed in the making of the show. And
Or shields.
remember, a chinchilla's not just for Christmas. And anyway, that's that, folks. So thanks very much for joining us. That's 2 hours of your life
Crack.
you'll never get back again after watching that. No, I was only joking. There's some brilliant musicians. Suzanne and Anna there, absolutely amazing.
That would be great.
Imagine if it had just been you and if it had been you and me for 2 hours. Is what I meant. That would have been hardcore.
It was almost
Anyway,
me for 2
right.
hours. That's worse.
Yep. Well, you'll get your shot sometime. You get a shot sometime.
I hope not. I'll phone Ross. Ross, help
Happened to me one. Happened to me. What happened to me one night when Ross got cut off? He couldn't get on. So it's just the way of the internety thing. The internety thing.
I live in a city though.
But anyway, listen, folks.
Right, yes.
Aye.
I'll see you on Wednesday.
Yeah, Karen, thank you very much for doing all that backstage, and we'll see you soon.
And thank you to Suzanne and Anna for tonight.
Au revoir, good all that kind of